Hello, I'm Ed Parker and I'd like to welcome you to the former Royal Ordnance Depot here at Weedon. I happen to be a neighbour of this amazing place with its 22 listed buildings and structures. I'm a reenactor and I'm wearing the uniform of a colonel of the 44th Regiment of Foot from the period when the Royal Ordnance Depot was originally built.
Section, carry, arms.
Britain had been at war with the French since 1793 and an invasion was expected. When I say at war with the French, this means we were fighting them and their allies all across Europe and the Americas, as well as looking after our own colonies. That required a lot of soldiers and an incredible amount of muskets, uniforms and artillery, or as it is collectively known, ordnance. The subsequent expansion in production meant that we needed additional secure storage space for all the ordnance and to be able to quickly resupply troops when needed. Given that all of the existing storehouses were vulnerably located on the south coast, what could be better than this site at Weedon? Slap bang in the centre of England with the Grand Junction Canal close by for transportation. Remember, this is a time before the building of the railways. The Board of Ordnance planned the buildings you can still see today, plus barracks, officers' accommodation known as the Pavilion, parade grounds, stables, plantations, gardens and allotments, most of which are long gone. It was a huge establishment, eventually stretching to over 120 acres. Captain Pilkington of the Royal Engineers designed the complex and began work here in 1804 with his corps of military artificers. 10 years later, the site with its clock was complete and had become the second biggest ordnance depot in Britain. 1 year on, in 1815, the Battle of Waterloo saw Napoleon defeated and peace arrived in Europe. At least for a while. Listen to this. It's a description of the site written in 1858 and taken from the Morning Post. At a short distance from the pavilion stand the storerooms, consisting of 24 rooms, each being capable of holding equipment and clothing for 10,000 men. All these rooms are at present nearly full, and the cost of the entire has not been under £1 million sterling. Goodness me, that is an awful lot of money. The powder magazine, it is the third largest of its kind in the kingdom. It is capable of holding 30,000 barrels of gunpowder, and we don't wish to alarm timid visitors. It is at present full. The site finally stopped being used for government stores in 1983, but during its many years of service, it supplied troops fighting in the Crimean War, the Boer War, World Wars I and II. And in all that time, this same clock still kept chiming away. But let me hand you over now to my friend Arthur.
My name's Arthur Hart. My grandfather and my father worked in the depot, my father for 51 years, and I worked in the depot after I came at the army in 1955. In 1957 there was a fire in the lift shaft in Storehouse 14 which took the weapons upstairs to the armourers. As a result of the inquiry of that fire, they doubled the fire brigade to 2 fire engines and I transferred in. As it was proved 2 or 3 times, once the fire started, it rapidly spread because most of the weapons were covered in grease. 250,000 weapons went up in 1951 in Storehouse 20. I enjoyed the fire service, I really did.
We have been lucky to find 3 original manuals produced in 1942 that feature line drawings of many of the guns that were stored here. This particular one shows a Sten gun. These manuals were used by the staff to help them to disassemble and repair the guns. You can find out more about the depot and see many of the original items in our visitor centre. Most of the depot today is a working environment with many small businesses operating from the buildings. If you are interested in volunteering to help at our visitor centre, please come speak to us or check out our website. We really hope that you enjoy your visit.